Today we have the most underrated players in the NBA. This is an article dropped by Bleacher Report. Mr. Dan Favale dropped this article a few days ago on July 20th. I already did the most overrated players in the NBA. That video might do better than this one because people love to hate, people love the drama, people like to say people are trash. But the most underrated players to me, that's probably more interesting. Like, this article is going to be more interesting. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. We're on the road to 3K subs. I'm grinding out the content this offseason. Can't wait for the NBA season, but let's get into it. So number 5, Santi Aldama. Yo, I did not expect that. I don't know who I expected, but it was not Santi Aldama. Like, I'm not gonna lie, he hooped last year. The Grizzlies had a lot of injuries, you know, Ja, Bane, even Jaren missed time, Marcus Smart. They had a lot of random guys, not random guys, but they had a lot of, you know, bench guys step up. Santi Aldama was one of them. But top 5 most underrated? I mean, that's insane. I mean, I don't even know how many minutes he's going to get next year. All the Grizzlies are back healthy. What is he probably going to be backup power forward for them? I mean, I don't know. They got Brandon Clark. They just picked Zach Edey. Like, okay, so I just read all this. You guys can pause it and read it if you want. I'll scroll down right here if you can read it. There's not much interesting here except for what I kind of already said. I mean, I don't agree with this at all. I do think Santi Aldama is a fine, solid player, but I don't think he's going to make much of an impact for the Grizzlies this season. I'm sure he'll be like solid off the bench, but most underrated, Santi Aldama at 5 is nuts. Okay, I like this one. And you guys might say I'm a hypocrite because Simone Fontecchio and Santi Aldama may be a little comparable, but Simone, I think it's Simone. I don't think it's Simone. I think it's Simone Fontecchio. I think, bro, he is actually underrated. And a lot of people don't know about him because he was on the Pistons, he was on the Jazz. Two teams you don't watch, right? 2 teams you don't watch, but I watched him. Why? Because he's a bucket. And let's read what they have. He averaged 15.4 points per game across 16 games while knocking down 53.9% of his twos and 42.6% of his 6+ 3-point attempts per game. This is exactly what I was thinking. They're saying he's not gonna, you know, contend for any all defense teams, but he plays pretty solid defense. He's 6'8", can get points. I like this one. But if I was making the list, I would probably have him on. I don't know. He'd probably be my top 10. 4 might be crazy. I like this one though. I like Fontecchio in the top 5. I'd probably have him at 5, and then I could think of 4 others, but solid start to the ranking. Don't really understand the Santi Aldama one, but Fontecchio at 4, I like it. Who do we have at 3? Naji Marshall. Okay, so I thought we'd see some better players. We're going more for like role players, which is interesting. Naji Marshall for the Mavericks. Okay, I gotta see what they're saying about this. Yeah, he just landed a 3-year deal with the Mavericks. Close to $8 million annually, I believe is what it says. Marshall isn't a fringe star hiding in plain sight. He is not particularly explosive, and covering smaller vantage craters can be touch and go for him, but he can rumble with bigger forwards who are more like actual bigs, i.e. Paolo Banchero. I mean, I do think Naji Marshall is underrated. They're saying he's 26 years old. I wasn't really sure how old he was. I do think he's underrated, but like for a top 5 list, I don't think I would have Naji Marshall in my own top 5. And again, make sure you guys are subscribed with noties because right now I'm just reacting to stuff. Once we get closer to the season dropping, probably even in like a week or 2, I'm going to start dropping all of my rankings and projections and stuff because I love to do that. And I'm going to rank each position. Naji Marshall, if I drop my own underrated players ranking, probably not in it. Fontecchio though, probably going to be in it. But yeah, Marshall, solid player, can shoot, can play defense. You want that. And so for as far as his name goes, yeah, I feel like he could be a little underrated because not a lot of people know who Naji Marshall is, but it's interesting. He's number 3 on this list. I respect it though. I respect it. At number 2, we have Ayo Dosunmu. I'm probably saying his last name wrong. I always do. But we got Ayo, the 3-year, $21 million. That's a good deal. I think he's underrated. So I like this. I like this a lot. I dropped a video like 5 days ago, something like that, of one player from each team that I think it was like will surprise you or will improve. I think it was will improve. For the Bulls, I picked Ayo. I like this pick a lot. I think he's gonna take a jump next year, not to like a star level, but to like a right below that. Like, I don't know what level that would be like, but he's not a star yet, maybe one day, but he's very young and I like it. I think he's going to be, you know, he's a good defender, can play make, he can do a lot, right? Standing at 6'5" in shoes with a wingspan north of 6'10", Dosunmu can defend both guard spots and scale up to certain wings, and he's not tussling with afterthought covers either. Basically, they're putting him in a grouping of some of the best defenders in basketball with Malik Beasley, Mikal Bridges, Jaylen Brown, and Jaden McDaniels. He didn't shoot too many threes last year at 4.8 attempts per 36 minutes, which he didn't play 36 minutes a game, so he probably only took 3-something threes per game, but shooting 40.3% from the three-point line, really good. That's a really good sign. Yeah, I like Ayo on this list. Naji Marshall, I don't mind it. Simone Fontecchio, I like it. And Santi Aldama should be nowhere near an underrated list, if we're being real for a second. But who do we have at number 1 on the list? Should I make some guesses? How would I guess this though? I mean, they had Ayo as the cover. So I thought he was going to be number 1, because if you watch my most overrated, actually, I'm not going to spoil that if you guys haven't seen that, but yeah, check out that video if you guys want. Who do we got? Aaron. I mean, like, we're really going full role player, like bench players for this list. This is nuts. Aaron Wiggins at 1. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know enough about Aaron Wiggins and his game to make a good judgment on this. I just don't. They're saying Aaron Wiggins might not crack this list, let alone top it, if he were on another team. Okay, so since he's on the OKC Thunder, which by the way, I think the Thunder, and they just gave him a really nice contract. I think it was like 4 years, 50 million or something, which kind of caught me off guard. That's a lot of money. And they're also locking him into a lot of time. It's like 4 years they gave him or something. Maybe it says it around here somewhere. I don't think it does. Yes, it does. 5 years, 45 million. So the Thunder really believe in him. As I was saying, I think right now the Thunder are my favorite team in the West to go to the finals next year, or at least be the 1 seed, because I just think they're so well rounded. They're going to be so good defensively. Pretty much saying that they have him on here because he's a really good finisher and he's young. I don't know. I would not have him even on my top 10. That's just me. I know there's going to be some Aaron Wiggins truthers in the comment sections, but some people that like I would have liked to see on this, maybe like Herb Jones. I think Herb Jones is underrated. You know, if you're deep into the NBA world, maybe not, because, you know, he's talked about a lot in the NBA, like deep in, but like NBA casuals aren't really familiar with Herb Jones and his, you know, 3-and-D type of play. Like he's one of the best defenders in the NBA. But this is an interesting list, bro. Aaron Wiggins at 1. I was not expecting that. I just wasn't. But again, make sure to subscribe, because I'm gonna drop my own underrated players ranking. I'll probably do top 10. Probably 5's kind of light, bro. 5's kind of light. Dan Favale from Bleacher Report. Next time we need at least 10, but I'm gonna drop my own ranking. So subscribe, turn on noties. We're on the road to 3K, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.